I'm Kishan, and in this video we'll be learning how to create this awesome portfolio website. So let me give you a demo of this. So here we have our Navbar section. When we hover over this links, it changes to gradient. Then we have this hero section. Then we have the about section. We also have this animations. If you notice that, I'll reload the page. So these are the animations. For the animations, I have used the scroll reveal library. Let's go to the skills section. So these are the skills section. So this website has been made using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. This is the portfolio section, and we hover over this portfolio, the image scroll downs. This is the services section. This is the languages that the developer knows section. When you hover over the language image, it shows its actual color. This is the PNG. This effect is applied using the CSS filter. So this website is completely responsive. Let me show you that. I'll switch over to the mobile mode. We also have this responsive navbar. When we click over this toggle button, a second navbar comes from the right. When we click outside the section, it closes. Also, when we click in any of this link, it also closes. Like I'm clicking the skill here, so it has been closed. As you can see that the website is completely responsive. Let me increase the size. So we'll go to tablet mode. I'll close the navbar. So this is it. So without wasting any further time, let's get started to build this awesome portfolio website. Now I have opened my VS Code, and I have also inserted this assets folder which have the assets of the project. You can find this from the description of the video. Now let's create the index.html. Then we'll create a scripts folder. Also we'll create an SCSS folder. Here inside we'll write the exclamation mark and hit tab, so it will generate the markup. Here we'll write your name. My name is kishansheth. Then inside the scripts we need to make two files, which is script.js and other is animation.js. Now inside the SCSS, first we'll create the index.scss, then we'll create a partial file which is base.scss, then we'll create navbar.scss, we'll create hero.scss, Then we will create an contact.scss. We'll create footer.scss. Make sure that you write the underscore before the file name, because these all files are the partials and this would be imported in the index.scss file. Then we have the languages.scss. We have the media queries.scss. We have mixins.scss. I'm gonna create portfolio.scss. Then we'll create an reusable styles.scss. It's scss, not css. Then we will have an scroll to top.scss. We then have the services.scss, and at the last we have the skills.scss. Now let's import all of those files inside this index.scss. So we'll write add keyword and write add import, then the file name, which is mixins.css. You don't need to write the scss here. We'll copy this, we'll paste it several times here, and now we'll select this by Ctrl D and erase it, and we'll write base, then we'll write reusable, not here, reusable styles. Then scroll to top. Then we need the navbar. Then we need the hero. We'll have the about. Hey, we forgot to create the about. We'll create it in a minute. Then we have the portfolio. We have the services. We have the languages. We have the contact, then footer, and at last we have the media queries. Now let's create the about.scss. Make sure this is a partial to include the underscore before the file name. Okay, save this, and from the tab of the VS Code I'm gonna click this What SAS button. If you don't have this button, you can install it from the extensions, and you can select here Live SAS compiler, this one. Okay, I'll hit this, so it will generate the index.css and index.css.map files. We are gonna import this index.css in the index.html. In the head section we'll write link css index.css. Save it. Also we are going to import the scripts here, script source. Inside the scripts we have the script.js. We'll copy this, paste it, and we'll replace the script with animation. Okay, so the files have been created. Now what we'll do is we'll go inside this base.scss, and let me start the live server. I'll close this and I'll open it in here, localhost colon 5000. It's 5500. Okay, so the page is here. Now let's reset some styles. By the star selector, we'll give margin of 0, padding of 0, and the box sizing of border box, save it. We'll select the HTML, give it a scroll behavior of smooth. We'll give it overflow X of hidden. We'll select the body. We'll give it a background color of hashtag 0b 0b 0b. It's 0 not O. Save it. Now let's grab the font family from fonts.google.com. We'll go to fonts.google.com and here we'll select the font outfit, and the styles we need is the 100, then we need the 300, we need 400, we need the 500 and the 700. Go over to this import tab, copy this import and we will paste it inside the top of our base.scss. Now here there is a font family, we'll also copy that and in the body we'll paste it. Okay, so our fonts would have been changed. Okay, now we'll write ul list style type of none. So all the ULs would have a list style type of none. The bullets would not be there. Then we'll select the root selector here and we'll create a variable named as gradient. The value would be linear gradient. It's not this separator, linear gradient. It is to the right. Then the colors for the gradient is hashtag C, phi, E, 3, phi and B. Then the other color would be 4, 5, B, 649. Save it. Then we will also give the scroll bar styling. So we'll select that webkit scroll bar and we'll write the background color the same as the body background color. Copy this, paste it here, and then we will give it a width of 0.3 mm. Now again we'll select the webkit scroll bar, but this time it would be the thumb property, and now we'll give it a background color of the green which we used in the gradient. Paste it. Okay, so our base.scss file is completed. Now what we'll do is we'll be start styling the navbar. So now let's head over to the index.html, and inside here first we'll create the markup for our navbar. Before doing that, we'll grab the font awesome library. So we'll search for CDN for font awesome. Not this one. We'll head over to the CDN.js and We'll copy this all.min.css. We'll paste it after here. Copy and paste. Save. And now inside our body, first we'll write the scroll to top. Inside it we have i.fas.fa-angle-up. We'll just have this section as in comment for now. Then let's create the nav with a class of navbar and a default margin. Inside it we have the brand container, the brand. Then we have the h2 with a web developer, then a span which has 3.0. Now we need a class of toggle. It has a class of fa bars. Then we have our links. We have the ul. Inside the ul we have li, and inside all the li's we have the href. This is for the home. I'll write it this. I'll copy this line, paste it 3 times. We have the skills here. Replace it with skills. Portfolio. And last would be the service. This is services. Now we have the li with I of fa-search. Paste it. Copy this and paste it 2 times. We are just gonna change this class here, which will change the icon. This is for the Twitter and this one would be for Instagram. Okay, that's it. Now we have a button. Inside the button we have the I with FAR FA ID card, and we will have a text. After leaving a space we'll write contact us. Save this. We'll close this. Okay, as you can see that all our content is here. Okay, it is here. So let's head over to the navbar.scss. I'll shrink this so you can see the changes. Now inside we'll select the navbar. I'll write display of flex. Justify content of space between. It's between, so there would be space between. Then we have an align items of center. We'll also give it a color of white, so all the font color would be white. You can see that there is a space between. Now let's write padding of 2 rem to top and bottom and 0 to left and right. Okay, now we'll go to our reusable styles and first we'll write a gradient class. We'll give it a background of variable gradient. Then what we'll do is we'll have the default margin class. Default margin, we'll give it a margin of 0 and 14 rem of left and right. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll select the button. Let me switch the VS Code tab to this side, and we'll give the button of color of white. Then we'll give it a padding of 1 rem and 1.8 rem. We'll give it a text transform of uppercase. First, let me write the background image, which is linear gradient, RGBA 255 255 255 and of 0, write a comma, and again RGBA 255 255 255 of 0, and we have another linear gradient with to right, the color would be DC E35B, DCE35B, and the other color would be 45B649. Save it. Okay, so the gradient is there. Let's give it a background origin of border box. Also give it a background clip of content box, and we'll give it a box shadow of 2 pixels, 1000 pixels, 1 pixel, and a color of 0B 0B 0B, and the border type would be inset. Okay, then where did our gradient go? Let me figure out that. Okay, so we'll figure out the gradient of the button afterwards. Let's style the button further. We'll give it a border of solid, 4px of transparent. Then we'll also give it a display of flex, gap of 1 rem. We'll give it a align items of center. We'll give it a cursor of pointer. Okay, that's it. So yeah, that's all. We just missed the gradient of the button. Let me figure out that. Okay, so I found out what was the issue. We need to write background clip of content box, and the second property would be border box. Okay, so the gradient is here. Now let's style this further. So we'll go to the navbar.scss, and we'll switch this to this side. We'll select the brand container, give it a display of flex, select the brand, select the H2, select the S span, we'll select the margin left and give it a 0.5 rem, save it. Then we'll select the font size property and give it a font size of 0.9 rem. Then we have the letter spacing, which is 0.1 rem, and we have the color, which is 45B649. Save it. Okay, the color is there. Now select the toggle, give it a display of none. Okay, then select the links, select the UL, give it a display of flex, align items of center and a gap of 3 rem, save it. So This all is in a straight line now. Now what we'll do is we'll select the li. Inside the li we have the a. We'll give it a text decoration of none. Color would be inherit, which would be white, and we'll select the hover here, and whenever we hover over this we will change the text to the gradient text, save it. Okay, I think we haven't created the gradient text. For the gradient text we will go to the which file was it? Yeah, it is mixins. So we'll go to mixins and we'll create a mixin here. The name of the mixin would be gradient text. The background of this would be var gradient. We'll write webkit background clip as text, and we'll write webkit text fill color of transparent. Save it. Yeah, the gradient are here. Now head over to the navbar.css again, and now we will select the I and we'll copy this and paste it here. Okay, so the I also have this gradient color. We'll fix this in a minute. Now we'll select the button and we'll give it a padding of 0.5 rem. Okay, so that's done. So our navbar is completed. We have to fix this icons. Let me see that what is the issue here. I think we didn't apply the class perfectly. It should be FAB. Okay, yeah, the icons are here. So our navbar is completed. Now we will create this home section. So head over to the VS Code. So now first let's create the markup. After this nav, we'll write a section with a class of hero and a class of default margin. We will also have an ID of home. Inside it we have a class of content. Inside it we have a title class. We have an h1 with hello guys. Another h1. I am Kishan. This could be your name here. Then we have the button. We have the I of class FAS, FA coffee. Let's leave a space and write get started. Then we have another div with a class name of image. We have the image, we'll grab it from the assets and hero.jpg. You can grab these assets from the description of the video. Save it. Let me open this, refresh this. Okay, the image and the button are here. The text is also here. Let's style this. We'll go to hero.css. Okay, we'll write hero. We'll write display of grid. We have grid template columns of 50%, 50% to both the section of the hello one and the image. Now we'll write overflow of hidden, then we'll write height of 60 viewport height. Okay, then we'll select the content and we'll select the image. Let's style the content first. We'll give it a display of flex direction of column, justify content of center, align items of flex start. Then we'll give it a gap of 2 rem. Gap of 2 rem. Save it. Okay, where did it went? We'll select the title inside here. We'll select the H1. We'll give it a include of gradient text. Save it. Where did the text go? Did we do something wrong? Display flex direction column. Okay, it's here. Okay, I know what's the problem. I'll give it a font size of 6 viewport width. Okay, now we need to position this image so we'll be able to see the content. I'll give it a position of relative. We'll select the image. We'll select position as absolute. Then we'll give it a bottom of 0. We'll give it the height of 85 viewport height, width of 50 viewport width, and then object fit of cover. It should be cover. Yeah. So that's it. Our home section is styled. There is no dot here. Let's do that. Let's go to the index.html and here write a dot. Save it. Okay, the icon is not coming. We need to figure out what's the issue there. I think we won't have applied the class properly. Yeah, it should be coffee. Yeah, the class is here. Both are identical. Now let's create the spring. So for that, let's write the markup first. So what we'll do is, after this section, we'll write spring with a class of write and an ID of spring 1. Save it. Inside we have an coil and we have a bar with a class of gradient. Save it. Now let's go to the reusable styles. Reusable styles, and inside here at the bottom of the file we'll select the spring. We'll give it a display of flex, align items of center, margin of 6 rem and 0. Save it. Now we'll select the coil. We'll give it a border top of white with a dashed and a 0.1 rem. Okay, it should be here now. It's coil. Okay, there is some mistake. Spring coil. Let's write the bar also. Bar with 0.5% height of 7 rem. Okay, the bar is here, but we don't have the coil. Let's go to the index.html. What do we have written here? Coil. Yeah, that's right. So the coil has the border top of white, dashed, and 0.01 rem. It's still not coming. Let's write the right class. Spring.right flex direction of row reverse. Okay, the coil, coil, and we also need to give it a width of 49.75%. Yeah, so the spring is here. So our home section is completed. Now we'll design this about section. So now let's write the markup for the about section. We'll go to index.html, and after this div we'll create a section with a class name of about. Inside we will create a title container. This title container would be reusable, and it would be used in every sections. Then we have the text as institutional. Then again we have a p tag, and we are going to copy this text from here, paste it, save it, and after the title container we have a div named as container, class named as container. Then we have a class name of image. Inside we have an image with a source of assets and institutional. Save it. Then after this div we have the play button. This would have a class of fab, then fa dash Google Play. Hit tab and save it. Okay, we need to refresh this page. The image is here. Now let's head over to the reusable styles first. Then at the end we will write the reusable styles for the title container. We'll select title container. We'll give it a display of flex direction. Sorry, it's a flex direction of column. Align items of center. Margin bottom of 9 rem. It should be 6 rem. We'll give it a text align of center as well. Let me switch this to this side and save it and show you. Let me change the color so that you can see it. H2 would have a color of white. Save it. Here's our H2, and the P would have a color of RGB 153 153 153. Save it. Yes, these both are identical. Now let's move on to about.css to style the component. Go to about.css. We'll select the about class. We'll give it a container selector. Then we'll give it a display of flex direction of column, align items of center, and a position of relative. Save it. Let me scroll this down. Now we'll select the image, and we'll give it the height of 25 rem, width of 50 rem, and an object fit of cover. So I'm gonna comment this object fit now, so I'll explain this property in a minute. I'll save it. So you can see that the image is stretched now, so it is not in center. When we apply this object fit property, the image would be in center, so it won't be stretched. Okay, now we need to have this play button in here, so I'll select the play and I'll select the eye, and I'll just include gradient text. Okay, so the play button is visible now. Then I'll give it a font size of 10 rem. Okay, now I'll give it a position of absolute, and I'll give it a top of 30%, and I'll give it a cursor of pointer. Okay, that's it. So now we have completed our about section. Now we'll style the skills section. Let me copy this so we don't have to come to this page. We also need to create this spring. We'll do that. We'll maximize this and we'll go to index.html file, and what we are gonna do is first we'll paste the text here. We'll copy this spring, paste it. I'm sorry, I didn't copy it. Copy this and we'll paste this here. We are gonna remove this right class, and we are gonna also remove this spring 1 from here, and we'll write here spring L1. We'll copy this again, and now we'll write section dot skills with the class of default margin, and the ID would be scales. Save it, and inside this we will be using our reusable title container class. So for that, write title container. I'll write h2 with main skills. Write p. I'll paste the text here. Now we have this content div. We have the skill. Inside it we have the container circular. Inside the circular we have the inner. Then we have the number. This would be 42%. Then we have the circle. Inside it we have bar with the class of left. Inside it we have the progress. Now we have a bar of right, and this also has the progress. And now after 1 2 3 4 div, we'll write an h3. So this would be our text, our skill, and then development. Okay, so save this, and we are going to copy this skill and paste it 3 times. Now we are going to just change the text in here. So here it should be 100%. and this is backend development. Then this is for the mobile development, and this should be 34. You can change this values if you want to. Mobile app development. Then we have the 100% again, and here we'll write full stack development. Save it. So that is done. Now let's move on to the skills.css. Before doing that, I'll like to add some reusable styles here, which would be h3, a color of white, and the p would have a color of RGB 129, 128, 128. Save it. Now while we are here, let's also add another class, design. We'll go to position of relative, background with height 10 rem, width of 12 rem, background of linear gradient to right, and the colors would be C5, E3, 5B, and other would have 4, 5, B6, 4, 9. Save it. We get a position of absolute, Z index of 1, left of just the left of minus 10 pixels, and a top of minus 8 pixels. Save it. So this won't be useful in this section, but it would be useful in the services and portfolio. We just completed it now, so we don't have to open this reusable styles. I'll close this, and we'll now move on to the skills.css and have the markup, have the styles for the skills. So I'll shrink this tab. I'll move here. Okay, so our title container is styled, but we just need to style the skills. So I'll select the skills, I'll select the content, give it a display of flex, save it, so it would be a row. Then justify content of center and a gap of 2 rem. Okay, then insert this, we have the skill. We'll give it a display of flex direction of column, align items of center, and a gap of 2 rem. Save it. So this should have did some changes. Let's see the markup that we messed it up. Content. Okay, we'll have to write skills. Yeah, that's applied. Now head over to skills.css. Now outside this, we'll have this circular. We'll give it a height of 100 pixels, width of 100 pixels. We'll give it a position of relative. Then we'll select the inner. We'll give it a position of absolute. Save it, and we'll give a Z index of 10. We'll give it a top of 50%, left of not length, left of 50%, Then we'll give it a height of 80 pixels, width of 80 pixels, margin of minus 40 pixels, 0 0 minus 40 pixels. See that? So you won't be able to see the difference here because we haven't applied the colors. So we'll do that. Background 0b 0b and 0b. Okay, that's still not visible. Let's tell it further first. Border radius would be 100%. Okay, let's select the number and the bar. We'll give the bar as position absolute, height of 100%, width of 100%, save it. We'll give it a background of var gradient. Okay, you can see that the square is here now. Now we'll give it a bracket, border radius, bracket radius would be 100%. Then we'll write clip, rectangle, 0 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels and 50 pixels. Okay, now we'll transform, rotate 250 degree. Okay, that's it. Now we'll select the number, we'll give it a position of okay, this is position of absolute, save it. And we are gonna give it a top of 50%, left of 50%, we'll give it a transform of translate minus 50%, minus 50%. We'll give it a Z index of 12. We'll give it a font size of 18 pixels. Font weight would be 500. Color would be RGB 153 153 153. Yeah, that's visible now. And now we'll also I think we're gonna change this to 1.3 RAM. 1.3 RAM, and we'll give it a font weight of 700. Save it. Yeah, that's looking good. So we just need to change the size now. So we are gonna, after all of this, we are gonna select the 3 dot bar, clip, rectangle, 40 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels and 30 pixels. We'll select the 2 bar, left would be unset. Also we'll select the 4 from here. That's it. Now let's give this 3 to 4. So head over to index.html and select the second container, give it a class of 2, save it. So that is applied. Now give this a 3 and this one the 4, save it. So the changes have been applied and our skills section has been completed. So now we'll be doing this portfolio section. So let's head over to the VS Code. So now head over to the index.html, and after this section we are gonna copy this spring first. We need the right one. You're gonna copy this, paste it. We'll change the ID to spring 2, and now we have the section dot portfolio with default margin class and an ID of portfolio. Now we have the title container, our portfolio. We're going to copy the p text from here, paste it. Now after this skills, this portfolio, in the portfolio after the title container, we are gonna have another container class, design, background, and portfolio container. This would have an h3, agency website. We are going to copy this from here, paste it. Then we have an image here, assets, portfolio1.png. So this is completed, and after leaving 3 divs, I think we missed something. Let me check. Okay, so we have an image div here. Copy this inside this. Copy this portfolio div, and after these 3 divs, we'll paste this portfolio div and write it 2 here. Now we are going to copy this design div, copy, paste, and in the design we'll be writing here right. Save this. Let's go to the file. Yeah, you can see that design is here. Second design is also here. We need to change this to portfolio 3. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now let's head over to the portfolio.css, and here we'll have the portfolio. Let me go up here. We'll give it a position of relative first, then we'll select the container. We'll give it a display of grid, grid template columns would be repeat 3 with 1 free FR. Then we have a color of white, gap of 2 rem. Then we'll select the portfolio container, give it a display of flex direction of column, and align items of center. Since these changes are not visible, we'll first change the image. Give the width of 250 pixels, height of 250 pixels, overflow hidden, and a display of block. Save it. Yeah. Now let's fix the image. I'll give it a width of 100%. And we'll give it a height of auto. Give it a Z index of 0, margin of 0, padding of 0. We can remove this property, we don't need this because we have done it in the base.css as the star selector. Now let's give it a top of 0%, and left of 0 as well. Yeah, that's it. We'll give it a transition of top 3 seconds, top 3 seconds. Now let's style this container first. We need to give it a gap of 1 rem. Then we will give it a background color of #181818. Also we'll give it a padding of 2 rem and a text align of center. This should be behind, so let's fix that. We'll head over to reusable styles, and inside the design we have to give the Z index as -1. Okay, so it is behind. Now we'll also select right from here, give it a background, top of auto, left of auto, right would be -10 pixels, and bottom would be -8 pixels as well. Save it. Yeah, this is perfect now. Now when we hover over this image, this should scroll. Let's complete that inside the portfolio. Now we'll give it a position of relative, border radius of 1 rem. It should be 1 pixels. Yeah. Then we'll give it a margin of 0 and auto. Now let's write the style property for the moving of the image. We'll write webkit transition all 3 seconds, and when we hover we'll give a top of -300%, We'll again select the WebKit transition and give it all of 3 seconds, and we'll give transition all of 3 seconds. This should work now. Let's write mouse transition. Okay, I got here we have to write WebKit transition of bottom. It's still not working. Let's write the mouse transition as bottom 3 seconds. I'll give it ms transition bottom of 3 seconds. O dot transition, this should be transition. This would be bottom of 3 seconds. This property would be last. Okay, this is still not working. Let's copy all of this. This should work now. So okay, we forgot to write position of absolute here. Yeah, that's working. Okay, there is a glitch here. We need to fix that. So after this transition, we'll write ampersand int of type, and 2 we'll select image, select the image, ampersand hover, top would be -3 45%, then we will just copy this. I'll select the third and give it a 390%. So now to fix this bug, we have to write margin of 0 and padding of 0, and here the height would be 150 pixels. Okay, the bug has been fixed and it is working perfectly now. Our portfolio section is completed. Let's add the spring. So head over to index.html and I'll paste the spring. Yeah, the spring is here. So now we'll style the services section. So head over to the VS Code and now we'll write the markup for the services. So I'll write section with class name of services with also default margin, and we have the ID as the services. Inside it we have the title container first, then we have the our services. Let's copy the services text from here, paste it. Now we have the container. We first have the design, background, then we have the service. Inside the service we have an I with a class of FS, FA, globe, ECR. We have an H3 of website pro, and the P would be copied from here, paste it, and after leaving this two divs, we are first going to copy this service, paste it. We are going to paste it 4 times. This is first, second, third, and fourth. Now we are going to write design. This design would be right. Then we have the background. Inside it we have this. Okay, this is here. Now let's change the content. Second would have the e-commerce. E-commerce. Okay, this class would be this is not a div, this is I, so we need to change this to I with a class of okay, class fs fa globe. Same goes for here. I dot class of fas fa dash shopping cart. Save it. This would be I dot fas fa mobile alt mobile apps. Here the icon would be IAFAS FA layer group web application. Okay, now we have digital marketing. Copy this, paste it here, and the icon would be I.fs fa signal. Last would be brand creation. Save it, and the icon would be of I.far fa light bulb. Okay, we have our icons and everything here. Now let's style this. Head over to the services.scss file, and we are going to select the services dot container display of grid template columns of repeat 3 of 1 fr. Gap would be 2 them. Save it. Yeah, that's good. Now we'll select the design. We don't need to do this, we already did this, so we'll select the service, create a background color of 181818. Now we'll give it a padding of 2 run, display of flex direction of column, gap of 1 rem, and align items of center, and the text align of center. It's text align of center. Save it. Now what we are gonna do is select the I, include gradient text, font size be 2.5 rem. Okay, we missed something here. We're gonna go to index.html and figure that out. So I think the class name is right. We have the background. This should be outside the background. Okay. Yeah, that's all. So our services is also styled. Let's add the spring. So before the portfolio, copy this. This is spring 3. Okay, so our services is completed. We have to add this languages. Let's also add a spring here again. This spring would be spring L3. We don't have the right here. Yeah, that's all. That's the last spring we need. So that should be here. Yeah. Okay, so we are done. Now let's write a markup for languages. So now we'll have a class name section with the class name of languages. Also we'll add the default margin. We'll have a class name of container, language, image, assets, language 1. Copy this, paste it 4 times. We are just going to change this to 2, 3, 4 and 5. Save it, and you can see that images are here. Let's style this. Head over to the languages.scss. Inside we'll select the languages container, give it a display of flex, save it. Okay, let's go to index.html and languages. The class name was not correct. Then we have the justify content of center and a gap of 4 em. Let's select the image, language, and the image have a height of 7 em. Save it. Yeah, that's good. Now let's apply the filter. Filter would have a brightness of 0 and then invert of 1. Save it. Now that's working. We have to fix this for this logo, Gatsby logo. We'll do that later. Now we'll add the transition property, 0.5 seconds is and out. Now we'll have the person hover and write filter of none. Okay, so these all are working. We have to fix for the fourth, which is the Gatsby logo. We'll use the nth of type selector, nth of type for image, and we'll give the filter of grayscale 100 and then invert of 1. Save it. We have to remove the filter. Save it. Yeah, that's working. So our languages section has been styled. Now we have this contact section. Let's head over to the VS Code and write the markup for that. So now after this we are going to have a section with the class name of contact, and we have a default margin. We have the left class. Inside the left we have the title, we have the bar, h3 which says let's talk, p, you're gonna have this content copied, save it. And now after this div we have a form, input of type text, placeholder would be name, input of type email, placeholder is email, input of type tel, placeholder is number, then we have button with contact, save it. Then we have the right class. In the right we just have the image, assets contact.jpg. Okay, so let's head over to contact.css and style this. Let me shrink this. Contact display would be flex, margin would be 4 rem and 20 rem, 4 rem 20 rem. Then we have a gap of 3 rem. We'll select the right first, right, and we'll select the image. We'll give it a height of 30 rem, width of 26 rem, and an object fit of cover. Save it. Yeah, the image is proper now. Now let's select the left part. So first we'll select the title. Inside the title we have the bar. We'll give it a height of 0.5 rem, width of 5 rem. Background would be var gradient. Okay, now we'll also give it a margin bottom of 1 rem. Now we'll select the form. We'll give it a display of flex direction of column, justify content of center, and align items of flex start. We will supply a margin of 2 rem to top and bottom, and we will also give it a gap of 1 rem. Now we'll select the input. We'll give it a padding of 0.8 rem, 9 rem, 0.8 rem, 1 rem. Okay, now we'll select the background color of transparent. We'll give it a border of 1 pixel solid, RGB 129, 128, 128. Save it. We'll give it a color of white. Yeah, So our contact section has also been styled. Now we have to style this footer and this lower footer. So head over to the VS Code and open the index.html to write the markup. So now we'll have the footer with the class name of footer. Then we'll have a class name of section. Inside it we have class name of brand. We have h2 of portfolio. Save this. Then we have this p. The contents would be copied from here. Then we have an UL with the class name of social. We are going to have a 4 li. Inside the li we have I. We are going to copy this, paste it, and the I would have a class FAB, FA, Facebook, F. Then this one has a class of FAB, FA, Instagram. This one has a class of FAB, FA, Twitter. This one has FAB, FA, linked, in. Save it. Now after this UL we have another section. This has h3 with the class name of title, get in touch. Save it. Then we're gonna have UL, and inside the UL we are gonna have this content. We are gonna copy this. I'll select this by alter. Write li in front of this. Copy. We also have the I class, and here we have the li. That's done. Now let's add the class name, class of FAS, FA phone, class of FAR, FA envelope of open, and here we have a class of FAR, FA building. Now let's copy this section. Section h3 with title. Gonna paste it. I'll copy this our services and paste it inside this. We have UL. We will copy this. Select this by alter. Li. Copy this, and at the end I'll write the li. So this is done. Now again, section h3 dot title, popular tags, UL. Content would be copied from here, paste it. Li, cut, paste. We don't need spaces here. Save it. So the footer part is done. Now we also have this lower footer. This has two spans. We'll copy the content of the span from here. Save it. So the content would not be visible because of the colors. Let's go to the footer.css and have some styles. Footer, let me shrink this. We'll give it a display of grid template columns of repeat 4 with 1fr. Let's give it a background color first of #181818. Give it a gap of 5rem, padding of 5rem and 14rem, color of RGB 128, 128 and 128. This should be 129. Yeah. Then we have the section h2, include gradient text. We'll give the font size of 3rem, margin bottom 1rem, and now we'll select the title. Color would be white, margin bottom of 1.3rem. We'll select the social UI, social, flex direction of row, margin top of 1rem, gap of 1rem. I would have a font size of 1.2rem. Okay, this should have display flex. Yeah, that's great. You don't need this. Now let's select the button. Button would have margin top of 1rem, box shadow of 2 pixel, 1000 pixel, 1 pixel, and 181818 inset. Did we just forget to add the button? Yeah, we forgot to add the button. So head over to index.html, and inside the second section, yeah, here after the UL we have the button. It says send a message. Okay, that's great. Now head over to footer again, and inside the footer we just completed the button styles. Now we'll select the UL, give it a display of flex direction of column, gap of 0.6rem. Okay, we need to apply flex direction of row here. Row. That's great. Now here we'll write li display flex, gap of 1rem, transition of 0.5 seconds is in out. And when we hover over this, we need to change the color to gradient text, and we have the cursor property of pointer. Save it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now let's style this tags first. Tags, display of flex, flex direction of row, flex wrap of wrap. Save it. We'll select the li, we'll give it a padding of 0.5 rem, width of max content, and we have a border of 1 pixel solid, RGB 129, 128, 128, and when we hover over this li ampersand hover, we want the color to be white. Add the important property here and we'll include gradient text. Okay, so yeah, okay, this should be in the tags format. We did some mistake here. Flex direction row, flex wrap of wrap. Did we forget to mention the tags class? Yeah, we need to mention tags here. Okay, so perfect. This is also styled. We just need to style the lower footer now. For that, we'll go to footer.css. At the end, we'll select lower footer. Give it a color of RGB 129, 128, 128. Display flex, flex direction of space between, space between, and a padding of 1 rem and 14 rem. Okay, this is not working. Display flex, flex direction. Okay, this should be justify content, not flex direction. Justify content. Okay, perfect. So our template is almost complete. We just have to add the scroll to top functionality, then we have to add the responsiveness, and we have to add the animations. So let's add the scroll to top functionality first. Head over to VS Code, maximize this. So now head over to the index.html, and we'll uncomment this code, scroll to top, and we'll go to scroll to top .css. Now we'll write scroll to top. We'll give it a position of fixed. We'll give it a bottom of 40 pixels, right of 40 pixels, a background color of hashtag 303030. Let me switch this to this side so you can see that. Now save it. It's not visible still. Okay, I'm gonna give it a Z index of 20. Then I'm gonna give it a padding of 1 rem and 1.3 rem. We will also give it a border radius of 5 rem. I think we need to refresh this page. Yeah, it's here now. Now we'll give it a cursor of pointer, and now we'll select the eye and we'll include the gradient text. Save it. We'll increase the font size to 1.5 rem. Save it. Yeah, so this has been styled. Now we have to add the JavaScript functionality for this. So whenever we scroll to height, then only it shows, and when we scroll to the top again, we need to hide it. So head over to the script.js, and inside here we'll write const scroll to top is equals to document dot query selector, and we'll select the scroll to top class, scroll to top, and now we'll add an event listener to this of click. Whenever we click on this, we want the window to scroll to the top of 0. We can see that this functionality would be working. Yeah, it's working. Now we have to show and hide this scroll to top based off this window height. So we'll select window dot add event listener of scroll. Whenever the window dot page y offset would be greater than 100, we need to add scroll to top dot style dot display equal to block, and whenever it's less than 100, we want this to none. Save this, and it should be working. Yeah, you can see that it is working. Yeah, so our scroll to top functionality has been completed. Now we'll be adding the responsiveness to this template. You can see that it just messes up when we switch over to the responsive mode. So let's fix that. So now head over to the media queries files, and we'll write a media query here by at media screen and min width of 280 pixels and max width of 1080 pixels. Okay, let me switch this to this side. Yeah, so let's select the body first and give it an overflow X of hidden. Then we'll give it a default margin and change this margin to 0 and 10 viewport width. Now we'll select the navbar. We'll select the brand container, give it a display of flex, justify content of space between, align items of center and gap of 2 rem, width of 100%. Then we'll enable the toggle button by display of block, and we want to hide the links. So what we'll do is we will have this kind of effect. So this is another nav, so we will create this nav afterwards. First, let's style this whole template. Then we'll select the hero. We'll give it a margin of 0 and 10 viewport width. We'll select display of flex direction of column reverse. We'll give it the height of 100%. We'll give it the gap of 2 rem. Then we'll select the content. We'll give it align items of center. We'll select the title, select the H1, give it a font size of 3 rem. And now we'll select the image, give it the position of initial, select the image, give it a position of initial as well. Then we'll give it the height of 100% and a width of 100%. Save it. Okay, so image is visible. So our hero section is styled. Now we need to style this about. Select about. We'll give it a margin of 0 and 10 viewport width. Then we'll select the image. We'll give it a width of 100%. Mark it as important. This didn't have any change, I think. Let's refresh this. Okay, I think this should be outside of this. Yeah, okay, that is working now. Now we'll select the portfolio, yeah, portfolio, the container, grid template columns would be 1fr. Then the portfolio container, padding would be 1 rem. We'll select the image, width would be 200 pixels. We are styling the portfolio, which is here, 200 pixels. Image ampersand hover, top would be -240 percentage, and it has the important property hover over this. Yeah, this works perfectly. Now we need to change the other properties as well. Ampersand nth of type to dot image img ampersand hover, top would be -246 percentage. This should be also working. Yeah. Now we need to style the skills. So we'll select the skills. We'll select the content and just give the flex direction to column, only column, not column reverse. We also have to give a justify content of center. I think text align of center would be better. Text align center, yeah, it's in center now. Now let's style the services. For services, we'll select the services, container, flex direction of column, align items of center. I don't think this style should be applied here. We'll just write grid template columns of 1FR. Yeah, that's great. We just need this property only. Then we'll select the language, select the container, flex direction of column, and align items of center. Languages. Yeah, that's great. Now let's select the contact. For this, contact, flex direction of column, margin of 2 rem and 10 viewport width, gap of 5 viewport width. We'll select the left, select the form, select the input, padding right of 10 viewport width. Yeah, this left section is styled. Now we'll select the right, select the image, and the width would be 100%. Yeah, that's great. Now let's select the footer. We'll just give it the padding of 5 viewport width and 10 viewport width. Grid template columns of 1FR, gap of 10 viewport width. Yeah, that's styled. And just lower footer, flex direction of column, text align of center, padding 5 viewport width, and gap of 1 rem. Yeah, so the responsiveness is there. Now we have to add the toggle button here, and we also need to add the navbar. So first we'll go to the here and we'll see why the toggle button is not being displayed. FA bars. Let me check if it is correct. Yeah, the class is correct. FA bars. Navbar toggle display block. Yeah, now it is visible. Okay, so head over to index.html, and now we are gonna add in another div of responsive navbar. So after this, responsive navbar, we'll have the brand here. We are just gonna copy this line, copy, paste, then we'll have the links. For that we are gonna also copy this, the entire content, UL. Now we just add class here. We'll select all this by alter. Class equal to nav link. Save this. You can see that other nav is here. Now we also need to style this navbar, so we will go to the navbar.css, and here we will first add a show class which would have an opacity of 1 with important. visibility of visible, and that would be important, and the right of 0 with important. Now we'll select the responsive navbar. The position is fixed, top of 0, right of 0, right of 0, then a height of 100%, height of 100%, width of 70%, also a background color of black, then we'll give it a Z index of 100, then we'll give it a display of flex direction of column, we'll give it align items of center, opacity of 0, we'll initially give it a first one, visibility of visible, let's make this hidden, and this 0, comment this for now. Then we have a transition of 0.4 seconds, is and out, color of white, padding of 3 rem, okay. Now we'll have this brand, we are gonna copy this text from this, this one, copy, paste, give it a display of flex, margin bottom of 2 rem. That's good. Now let's change the font size, 1.2 rem. Now we have the links. For the links, we have the UL, margin would be to viewport width, then we have the LI, margin would be to viewport height, then we have A, text decoration of none, color of inherit, save it. Now we'll give it a font size of 2.5 viewport height and a cursor of pointer. Now we'll select the UL and give it a display of flex. So head over to index.html and this all three would be inside an UL, save it. Yeah, that's perfect. So our navbar is styled. We have to add the functionality for the navbar now. So head over to navbar.css and initially we are gonna give this to minus 350 pixels, visibility will be 0. Yeah, so this won't be visible. This would be visible when we click this toggle button. So head over to scripts.js, and now we'll select the HTML document.query selector, HTML, then we'll also select the responsive navbar responsive navbar by document dot query selector dot responsive navbar and responsive navbar dot add event listener. Click. We need the e dot stop propagation. Yeah. Now let's select the responsive toggle. And whenever we select the responsive toggle, we need to add this event listener. We need to stop the propagation first, and we will, from the responsive navbar, we will toggle the class which is show. Save this. Okay, so it is working. Now we need to work on the closing functionality of the navbar. So we will add an event listener on HTML of click responsive navbar dot class list dot remove show. Let's test this. When we click here in the HTML, this should close. Yeah, this is working. Now we'll select all the nav links. Nav links equal to document dot query selector all, and we will select the nav links. Nav link, yeah. And for all the nav links, we'll have a loop. We will need this link. We'll add an event listener of click. Whenever we click on the nav link, we want to remove the class show from responsive navbar. Class test dot remove show. Yeah, this should work. Okay, so our responsive navbar is also completed. So you can see that our template is responsive now. Okay, it is completely responsive. Okay, so we just have to add the animations now. So head over to VS Code and inside the index.html. So now head over to the index.html, and at the end, before the script.js, we are going to import another script, which is the link would be https://unpackage.com/scroll reveal. Save it and head over to the animation.js file, and we're gonna write const sr is equals to scroll reveal. We're gonna pass origin of top, distance of minus 80 pixels, duration of 2000, and a reset of false. Save this, and we are going to reveal this sr.reveal. We are going to use backticks, and after the backticks we need interval of 300. Save it, and now inside the backticks we are going to write nav, then the hero, then the about, then the skills, then the portfolio, then we have the services, then we have languages, then we have contact, we have the footer, and we have the lower footer. Save it, head over to the browser and refresh. Okay, this is not working. sr.reveal, everything is perfect here. Yeah, let me see if we root this. Scroll reveal, scroll reveal, scroll reveal, unpackage.com, scroll reveal. Yeah, this is perfect. We need to refresh this. Okay, let me figure out this issue. I'll pause the video. Okay, so I found the issue. We need to remove this. Only a single column would be here, and when we go here, yeah, that is working. Now we also have to apply the animations on the spring. So head over to the animation.js, and now we are going to copy this, paste it. Again we'll paste it. This is sr2. The origin would be right, distance would be 50%, duration would be 33,000. We'll copy this, replace it here, and instead of right we'll use left here. This is sr3, sr2.reveal. So here first this, and the interval would be of no, we don't need to give an interval. We'll just select by id of spring 1, id of spring 2, id of spring 3. Save it. Yeah, this one's working. Now let's copy this and do the same for the left spring. sr3, spring l1, l2, l3. Save it. Okay, so the animations have been applied perfectly. So we have completed this portfolio website. Let me give you a demo of this again. So this is Navbar, this is the hero section. We'll refresh this for the animations. This is the about section. This is the skills section. This is the portfolio section. This is the services section, the languages, contact section, and the footer section. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, do subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. If you have any doubts, please comment it. Thank you for watching this video.